Hi everyone. Today I will be talking about the English A and B SBA, and specifically in the context of responding to your comments. First of all, let me just thank all of the persons who they have visited the blog, they have sent messages, they have taken the time to leave a comment. I really appreciate the support. When I started the blog, I did not expect that this would be the end result. I started the blog as a tool for my students and to just share additional information. Now, summer came and I heard that there was going to be a new syllabus for English A and B. Plus, not only will there be a new syllabus, new exam, but students will be required to do an SBA component. Now, just like yourself, I was like, wow, really? Oh my God. And so I got a copy of the syllabus and I just started to read, examine, and try to understand what this SBA thing was all about before going back to work, before I would have to teach my students, SBA, teach my students a new syllabus. Well, the rest is the product that you see before you today. Now, after reviewing the syllabus, I did a breakdown based on my understanding of what the syllabus was saying. And once again, let me just say, I am not a know-it-all. I do not know everything about the SBA. I basically use the information that I was provided with to create the material. So please do not take my word as gospel. Please do not say, oh, she knows that. No, So let's begin. So what I did before I started the video, I went to the search button and I typed English SBA and I pressed enter. So if you need anything about the SBA, just go to the search button, type English SBA, press enter, and you're going to see all the content related to SBA pop up. Now, I have two major posts that we're going to talk about today. The first one is CSEC English school-based SBA assessment outlined. And you're going to see right here that I clicked on the post, and on the page it's going to be only the post on the page. Like I said, I'm going to be responding to your comments. Now, as you can see, there's a breakdown of the CSEC SBA, English A and B SBA, based on the syllabus, right? And now I'm scrolling down to respond to your comments. So there are 20 comments, and I'm going to go as quickly as possible. Some of these comments I've commented on before, and some I have not. So let's quickly go through. So Miss Edwards said, I have not found any sample to guide us with the SBA. Do you know if there will be any, or can you suggest an additional resource that would be able to help in this area? All right. So based on the webinar that was conducted, members from CSEC, CXE, they said that roughly they did not want to create a sample because they did not want us teachers to allow students to just copy the sample and that is it. And I kind of understand where they're coming from, because to be honest, we do that, give our students writing guides so that they can write. And a lot of students, they don't know how to use their creativity, so they stick to the guide and they don't think outside the box. Now, I'm trying not to go off on a tangent, but hopefully you're following what I'm saying. So a lot of the SBA is based on the creativity of the student, their understanding of the content, their analysis of the data, and so on. So I'm working on a sample, completed a sample, waiting for it to be approved. As soon as it is approved, then I will definitely give you the information as to where you can find the sample. All right, so working on that. I cannot say any more on that topic. Moving right along. All right, so and please, if I pronounce your name wrong, please don't kill me. Will students need to do questionnaires as part of the investigation? No. Students will not need to do any questionnaire. The SBA is not based, or it's not like the social studies SBA where students will have to do questionnaires and so on. It's nothing like that. Basically, students are required to select 3 artifacts. One must be a print, whether it be a newspaper article, whether it be a magazine, whether it be a story from a book, etc., etc. One audio can be an audio, another can be a video, and it depends. Like I've said to my students, you must have a print. You can decide if you want, out of the other options, what you want, or you can have 2 prints and another option. The syllabus does not specifically state that you must have, all 3, based on my interpretation, but I could be wrong. Based on the artifacts now, students are going to use the artifacts to write their reflection, and so there is no questionnaire needed for that. All right, so Kimberly said, thank you for this. I have a small literature class with just 3 students. Can a group comprise of 3 students? Can students do the same topic for their individual assignment? Can the topic be the same for individual and group? All right. The thing about it is that for literature, and I'm guessing that Kimberly, I think she went on to say that her students, it's a private situation. For lit, once the student is doing language, they would not be required to do the SBA in the literature class again, because the one SBA covers both language and lit. So I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So once the student is in a language class, the student is doing the SBA in the language class, then that SBA, you don't have to do another SBA for lit. It's just one SBA and it covers both subjects. I don't know how the grades will be assigned. I don't know how, the marks will be assigned. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. And that's something that we really have to really talk about. Can students do the same topic for their individual assignment? No. Remember, we're trying to everyone, and the webinar that was conducted by CXC, the examiner said, everyone needs to have different topics because you want different artifacts. Same group topic, everyone will have their individual topics based on group topic. No one should have the same pieces of artifact, different pieces of artifacts. So if you have 4 students in a group, it will be 4 different subtopics based on the group theme, and in total 12 pieces of artifacts. 4 3 is right. I'm bad at math. But I hope you understand what I'm saying with regards to that. Thank you again. And note, now the syllabus clearly says 4 to 5 students, and so far we don't know if there's any room for or any allowance for 3 students, 7 students, 6 students. In this situation, I would definitely contact CXC about it. I cannot comment. I would suggest that you follow the syllabus as much as possible, especially since it's the first year, that the exam will be done, and as such, you don't want your students to suffer because you did not adhere to the rules or the guidelines that was stated by the syllabus. So try and stick to the guidelines that the syllabus suggested. All right. Now, Anonymous said, your resources are very helpful. Thank you. I wanted some explanation on the reflection. Is this correct? The first entry, the students must identify how each piece of material helped to shape his or her thinking about the issue. Second entry should discuss the use of language in the material selected, and the third state how the process, right. This is something that is a major point of this discussion. Now the question is, and I'm saying it not based on this, but the question on the table, or am I the only one at the table at the moment, figuratively speaking? The question on the table is, are the students supposed to do 3 different reflections based on, each article, or is it 1 reflection and you put all 3 articles in 1 reflection? And this is something that, I went back to the syllabus, I went back to the webinar, and my perception at the beginning was that we're supposed to have 3 different reflections based on how the information was presented. However, when I went back to the syllabus, when I listened to the webinar, the question was left hanging during the webinar. I don't know if anyone who is listening to this video or watching this video, whichever it may be, if you really heard or you really watched, you were a part of the webinar that was conducted. And when I went to the mark scheme, I went to the syllabus, and the syllabus stated that the SBA is out of 5 marks. I was like, okay, 5 marks. Hold on, let me go and pull the syllabus. Now we're looking at the syllabus, right? I have the rubric right here, and the rubric, it is from the copy of the 2018 syllabus, 2018 I think syllabus, to 2025. Please, if I'm wrong, correct me. All right, so, or I'll make a notation somewhere on the video, the actual date. Now, looking at the scoring rubric for the reflection, you realize that the total marks for the reflection, it is 5 marks, like literally 5 marks. So I was like, okay, so 5 marks, and students are supposed to do all of this analysis for 5 marks. I'm like, okay, fine, no problem. All right, so where they look at the criteria, it says candidates produce a reflection that integrates the treatment of the issue in the three pieces with excellent analysis of language and discussion and the process and its effect. So based on the rubric, we realize that one, reflection, and the treatment of the issue in the three pieces. So in the one, reflection, you're going to have the issues of the three pieces coming out, and they're looking for theme factors, so critical knowledge related to the theme, how material shape thinking, so that must be in the reflection. Analysis of language, how does the language use, or how does the use of language in the three pieces help you to better understand or shape your thinking, or the theme, based on the theme. Process factors, personal values, benefits, and this is the last paragraph, I think, when it talks about how you are supposed to change. So based on the mark scheme, my final conclusion, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that the reflection, you include all three pieces in your reflection, and you, in each paragraph, you analyze a different aspect of the pieces. And I'm going to go back to the blog so that we can look at what we're supposed to put in each paragraph. So here, I hope I'm not confusing you. So here, for the first paragraph, you're going to put how you're going to say how the material helped to shape his or her thinking about, shape your thinking about the topic. Then the second paragraph, the use of language in the material, so all three. And then the third paragraph is how the process of doing the SBA helped you to become a better person. You know what I think the problem is, and this is from the syllabus, I think the problem is the wording. The wording is the problem, because the wording, to me, probably I'm just stupid and I don't know how to understand information. But to me, and I'm going to blow it up a little more, so those of you who are like myself, you can't see well, you can see. I think the problem is how it is worded. When you talk about three entries, is it three entries as in three different reflections, or is it you're doing paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3? And I think the word that's causing the problem is three entries. What do we mean? What is it? When I say we, what should we interpret three entries to be? And so for me, the rubric and the actual syllabus, they're not in sync. They're not in sync. So maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe I don't know. Tell me what you think. Have you gone through the syllabus? Do you have a similar problem? Let me know what you think. All right, so moving on to the next comment. And guys, I'm smiling because somehow a part of me, my inner nerd, is happy. Don't know. I'm just weird. All right, so people know me. Yeah, they're not surprised. All right, so MV says, I am yet to understand how this English SBA is going to make this a student's workload any lighter. Just extra work, useless work. MV, I've been doing a couple of presentations based on the SBA, and I must say the first thing I stated in my presentation is that we need to change our perception about this SBA thing. I'm not going to lie. It is more work. It is definitely more work in terms of, you have to consistently guide the process. It's not like some SBAs that you can give them and say, go and do this and come back. It's something that you have to guide as the teacher. And so I like that in the idea that it forces students to develop their critical thinking skills, their writing skills, all of those. But additionally, after I changed my perception, I realized that it's actually better for our students in that. Can you imagine if your student was entering the exam with a percentage of the grade already earned? It would mean that students who are struggling, students who traditionally have failed the exam with a 4, would have a better chance to get a better grade in the exam. And that is how I am looking at it. That is how I am selling it to my students, and that is how I want to think about it. Yes, it is more work in some cases, but as I said, think about the benefits. And I think the benefit, if we really want our students to really do well, because there are teachers, and I've spoken to a number of teachers, there are teachers and there are schools that they get students who are really and truly struggling with the language. And for us as Caribbean teachers and having Caribbean students, and in a number of cases our students, their language, and I can speak from my own experience, our native language is not necessarily English. My native language is not necessarily English, and as a result of that, English is a struggle. And for us, English is a second language. And if we're going to give our students an edge up, I can only see where they're going to benefit. I can only see where, and I'm going off on a tirade or rampage, all of that. But Envy, I understand where you're coming from. And thank you very much for your comment. Moving right along. I need help with my topic in technology. And as I've stated, I am trying as much as possible to assist as, where I can assist persons. I don't know everything. What I know, I am willing to share. What you know, let me know so I can know more. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's basically it. And so if you need to send me a message, my email address is right here, csecenglishclass@gmail.com. Send me a message, or even if you leave a message on the blog, once you leave a message on the blog, it will automatically pop up in my email, and as soon as you leave it, I see it. So thank you very much. And as much as possible, if you send me an email, within 2 or 3 days, I will respond. And I say 2 or 3 days, I might respond, in a more timely manner, but I'm being realistic in that I am a teacher and I teach, and as a teacher, you know how it goes. A lot of work. All right. So Kimberly, thank you for consistently coming on and having a dialogue, on this form. Now, Kimberly asks, I am unsure of how the group topics relate to the individual topics. And Kimberly, I think you're the reason why I'm making this video. And, I sat down and I was like, how can I better answer the questions without, having to type? Because sometimes you type and it gets lost in the translation. So let's go in. And Kimberly, thank you for your questions. They're so detailed, Okay, back to it. I am unsure as to how the group topic relates to the individual topic. I was told that the group should be looking at the same theme, but individuals should research different aspects of the theme. Example, group theme, racial discrimination. Group member 1, racial discrimination in literature, how students view racial discrimination. Student 3, okay, causes of racial discrimination, and so on. Kimberly, you are quite on the ball. You have it locked. Excellent examples. It can be, and I recently spoke to an examiner, past examiner, all of that. And remember, it is an English A and B SBA, so elements of literature can be used. So I especially like the individual theme of group member 1, racial discrimination in literature. And in doing that, the student can look at racial discrimination in a poem and Dreaming Black Boy, or racial discrimination in a short story that is on the syllabus. And my memory slips me now because I'm dealing with so many things, but a story like Berry, or another story, or can use that in their analysis to integrate both the language and the lit. And I like it. How students, group member 2, how students view racial discrimination. And I'm looking at group member 2, and my only concern about 2 is, will the student be able to find information about how students view racial discrimination? And remember that the information needs to be print. It at least one print. So it in any literature, and when I say literature, I mean it can be a novel, story, poem, article, anything like that. In any literature, will the student be able to find the information in any form of literature? And that's the only concern. But excellent. Causes of racial discrimination. Excellent. And so I would agree you're on the right track. Finally, anonymous. And that was today. Good day. With students who are not in the formal school setting and who will be sitting their English A exam in January, be required to complete the English SBA. All right. Thank you, Anonymous. I think Anonymous might have come from the Facebook, because I left a post on Facebook saying that I'm going to be doing this today. Anonymous, the syllabus states that the SBA will be, sorry, my brain. All right. For the exam, students who are not in the formal school system, they're going to be required to do 3 papers instead of 2. So there is going to be a paper 1, a paper 2, and a paper 3. I have no idea what paper 3 will look like. I don't know, and I probably need to look back at the syllabus to see if there is a statement on it about paper 3. I know there's an outline of what paper 3 is, and it's on the blog. It's somewhere on the blog. I probably can put a link in it below your comment, but that is it. Now, January coming. Now, so I'm talking about January 2018. I don't know if January 2018, 2018, if the exam, that January exam, will be they'll be getting a paper 3. I don't know. It's something that, and once again, your question is an excellent question. It is something that I think CXC will, need to mention. I don't know if they've mentioned it already. In my mind, though, it would make sense if students who are doing January 2018 exam, the exam would not have changed from May 2017 exam, seeing that most students who might be doing the resit would be students who would have done the exam in May 2017, and they probably did not do so well, and they want to do the resit while everything is still fresh in their mind to get the exam done. So maybe that is something that CSEC might decide that. Once again, I don't know if they've commented on it. Don't know. But that is what my brain is thinking about. All right. So hopefully I answered your question. All right, so I'm going back all the way up to the top of the page, and I am going to go back to the post I'm coming from, and I'm going to scroll down. Oh my god, this video is going to be so long. Please bear with me. And the next post that I really want us to talk about is a breakdown of the CSEC English A and B syllabus. So the first post that I shared was the overview of the syllabus, and this is now a simplified version of the overview that was presented, and this was done in October 2016. And I'm scrolling down, as you can see, simplified to the comments, and this post has 16 comments, and I'm going to try my best to go through these rather quickly. Hopefully I do. All right, the marking criteria in the SBA seems to be asking for more than 3 areas stated for the plan of investigation. It seems difficult to write all of this in 100 words. Gail, OMG, I totally agree with you. And I'm going to pause a second. Not pause, but we're going to go to the syllabus to see what Gail is referring to. Now here we are looking at the rubric for plan of investigation, and for 1 mark you have your introduction from 1 mark, and it says title of topic. Propose a title for the investigation. So basically, if you have proposed a title for the investigation, you get 1 mark. Seems simple. Task to be done. Stating manageable, and I'm looking up here, stating manageable and specific terms, the task to be done. Fine, 2 marks. Going down again. Reason for selecting your topic, 1 mark, and I'm going up, and it says give brief reasons for selecting and investigating this topic. Okay, that seems rather simple, and that's in total that's 4 marks, no problem. Now section 2, ways of collecting material, ways of applying English language skills, and we're looking at ways of making inferences and drawing conclusions. So state what material should be collected and used, and how the material will be investigated, and notice how and nature of the material sources. That's 1 mark, right? And so for another 1 mark, the language skill that the student will learn. So in the SBA, students will have to state the language skills that they will learn from the SBA. Alright, fine, 1 mark from doing the SBA. Fine. Some conclusions to be obtained, 1 mark. And notice this is where it gets a little tricky. And 3 marks. So in total, we have gone through 7 marks. Alright. List 3 factors that can interfere with the soundness of the conclusion of your SBA research. And this is where I think Gail is referring to, and many others. For 100 words, how are you going to be able to cover all of these? List 3 factors and then describe one way you plan to minimize the effect of one of the factors. And that's 2 marks. So in total, this part of the SBA, its total is 10, but if you divide it by 2 to get the final grade. So the plan of investigation, in actuality, although it's marked out of 10, it's actually the final grade out of 10. You divide that by 2 to get the final grade. I hope I'm not confusing your brain. No, Gail is quite right when she says that all of that in 100 words, and trust me, I've tried. It's difficult. You can't cover all of that in 100 words, and so quite difficult. All right, Anonymous, very informative review info on the reflection and structure of reflection. Students will not reflect on each artifact separately. And thank you, Anonymous. I think I stated that earlier, that, thank you. And I think it was Anonymous's comment, this comment here, that got me thinking about, the whole reflection and all of that, because the truth is, your comments, your feedback, your points, really help me to validate my information. When I say that, I mean because I am analyzing the document and writing the document based on my interpretation. When you ask me a question, I can go back to the document now to see if what the question you're asking or the point that you have made, if what I have is in really and truly in line with what is there. And it might sound weird, but it does help, and I really appreciate the feedback. I really appreciate the fact that you take the time to make your comments, all of that. It really does help. So thank you very much. All right, this video is going to be extremely long. Alright, I'm sorry. I cannot pronounce your name, my dear, but she says, my topic is crime and I'm doing kidnapping. Like I said, send me an email if you need any help. I'll try to help as much as possible. Once again, I think one of the questions, another person commented that this has been a very comprehensive breakdown of the requirements of the SBA as discussed in the webinar. Our student experience would benefit from this. Thank you. And as I said, thank you very much. Your comments are helpful, really helpful. Really keep, help to keep me going. Can religion be a theme? Any topic, and saying that from Gabriel, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly and parent. Any topic can be a theme. The themes are based on the students' interests. And the syllabus states that once it's approved by the teacher, come together, students' interests approved by the teacher, it can be a theme. The only limitation that I might see in selecting, themes and all of that is not themes, but subtopics, is that you have to be careful that your subtopic is one that you will be able to find information on to help with your reflection. That's the only concern that I will say make a note of that when you're selecting your theme or creating your subtopic. Layman's logic, very informative. Thank you very much, Layman's logic. I found this very helpful. Thank you, unknown. It says after choosing the sub-theme, should the data each student. I think I answered this question earlier, and definitely. So let me just quickly repeat. Yes, after choosing the SBA theme, should the data each student gather be based on the no. The data should be based on the individual theme, the sub-theme, the student sub-theme, and the data should be different for all students. No student should have the same pieces of data. Thank you very much, everyone. I know this is extremely long. If you make it to the end of the video, if you're still here at the end, leave a comment below telling me what you think about the SBA or anything like that. I really appreciate the support. I really, when I started the blog was not about having people come and like or anything like that. The blog was simply a place where I could post additional information for my students, and it is still a place where I can post additional information for my students. And so even when I created this SBA breakdown, I did not even imagine that it would morph into something like this. I did it because, here was this new document. I needed to understand the document. And a part of understanding the document was creating the breakdown. And from the breakdown, something said share it, and I did. And so I'm really thankful that it is quite helpful for others. Thank you for taking the time to comment. Thank you for coming back every week, to see what's going on. Thank you that you really, really, really support. And I hope that we can open some kind of dialogue about the SB. And this is what I really want. I want us to dialogue about it, because a lot of persons are in the dark and a lot of persons have the information, some don't. And if we can open a dialogue, the only person that will benefit are persons, who would benefit are, but our students, they're the ones who are going to benefit. And at the end of the day, we're here as teachers, not for ourselves, but for our kids. And so that they can do the best that they can do with the information that they have. And so thank you very much. Bye-bye.